Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be testing a deck that was requested in the comments of my last video. Eldlich Shaddoll Invoked. You don't really see any invoked cards here, do you? So we're up against Tennies. They're going to be going first. They start off with the Pot of Desires. Honestly, if I were them, then I would actually first go for the Ashna, go into the Monk of Tenny, go for Vessel of the Dragon Cycle to make sure none of my targets for a Vessel is gone, unless he's just playing 2 of every single card in his deck. I'd probably just use Vessel first and then go for the Pot of Desires. So he's going to use the Ashna, summon itself, go into Monk, go into Vessel. I'm going to do lots of stuff, go into Vishuddha, go into Ashna. I don't really need to explain this, do I? I think I should kind of reduce the volume a bit there. I hope that's great. So it's gonna be my turn. First he has a monster summoned from the extra deck, so I can use Shaddoll Fusion, and I can fuse the Beast and the Golden Lord in order to go into a construct. Now I will be chain blocking my construct against his Draco Berserker. So he uses Call by the Grave on my Eldlich. I probably shouldn't have done this, honestly. I just did it because I was kind of panicked by that. I could have just summoned another copy from my deck during my opponent's turn using Scarlet Sanguine, and I would not have locked myself into zombies, because that is what White Destiny does. I entirely forgot about that little part. See, but I mill Wendy, but I forget that White Destiny locks me into zombies, so I cannot use Wendy's effect to summon. I probably also could have gone into I should have sent something like a Schemata or a or Dragon to maybe pop this Twin Twister he had. But I guess I failed. So I mean, Twin Twister isn't that great against Eldlich, because Eldlich rely on their spells and traps being in the graveyard. Construct can't deal battle damage, as you guys know. I forgot to attack. I thought his Draco Berserker would trigger, but it turns out that Shaddoll Construct does trigger during the damage calculation step thing. So you can't activate monster effects unless it explicitly tells you to. So I'm going to be using the effect of Sanguine he banished, got rid of, I mean. Set a copy of Golden Land, and the Golden Land will set a copy of Sanguine. So inherently both of them are just replacing themselves with other copies of them. So it's his turn. We have a Golden Land Forever, an extra pop, and more stuff. We're going to be on summon. He's going to be calling light. He's going to destroy everything I control. So I'm going to have to deal with that Protoss immediately. I'm going to be popping that Draco Berserker mainly because this man can't be destroyed by battle. Another reason why I summoned the Conquistador explicitly is as fodder for Golden Land Forever. Golden Land Forever stops that. Well, it won't be destroyed because it can't be destroyed by card effects, but at least it will be negated, and it is not beefy enough to beat over anything I control. So I can just use Resh Shaddoll Incarnation during the end phase, set a copy of Shaddoll Beast so that I can flip it during my next turn, and pitch off this Black Awakening I have in my hand. And we're gonna use Scarlet Sanguine. I didn't really want it to resolve. I didn't want to just burn out both my copies of my Golden Lord. But I mean, it got Ash, so that's a win-win either way. I just wanted to get it in my graveyard for more Golden Land plays. So during my turn, we're just gonna immediately flip up Shaddoll Beast, draw 2, discard 1. We're gonna just chain this Scarlet Sanguine in order to set a copy of Conquistador. So we get draw 2, and we draw another Call by Grave. We get the Elixir of Black Awakening. We're going to use it to set a copy of Huaquero, and we also have a White Destiny that we activated turn 1, so we get a copy of Golden Land Forever. So now we'll go all out, attack with everything we have. Protoss can be destroyed by card effects, so it won't be destroyed by Construct's card effect, so I actually will be able to deal damage this time. We'll attack with our Golden Lord, and we'll attack with the Beast. I forget to set these 2 copies of Called by the Grave, but it's not really too trivial. He only has 1 card in his hand, and what graveyard effects can he activate? Exactly none. So he draws a Mapura and an Ashna. Ashna might kind of hurt me. Unfortunately, this entire time I wasn't able to chain anything, but it doesn't really matter because I can just flip Conquistador, pop his Monk, and the next time he activates a card effect, I can negate it with Golden Land forever. So pretty much, I had a Wakura too, so if he tried to activate the graveyard effects of anything, I could just negate it. So that was duel number 1. I'll go straight to another duel then. So here we are with another duel. We're up against Chaos Max. I'm pretty sure he's playing pure Blue Eyes Chaos Max Turbo. Not a Chaos Max Turbo. It's just Blue Eyes Chaos Max Turbo, if you get what I mean. So we're going to be going first. We're going to lead with the Magical Meltdown. Just get a copy of Alster. You should probably know this by now. Just Almirage, Secure Gardener, Invocation, Banish, Secure Gardener, and Alistair. Get your copy of Mechaba. Now we have the Invocation recycle itself back, and we can get the Alistair back to our hand. We're going to use the Allure of Darkness, draw 2. We are kind of forced to banish the Alistair. I can use Eldlich Shaddoll Fusion on my opponent's turn for some more plays, some more spicy plays, and we're going to use Eldland, use its effect, get a copy of Conquistador, it seems, because we have the Elixir Black Awakening, and then we'll summon Golden Lord and pass. I keep this Called by the Grave in my hand, just in case we need some spell negates, and it seems I was correct for that, in that manner, because, Advanced Ritual Art, he has Advanced Ritual Art and his Chaos Max Dragon, which is very, treacherous, and thankfully I negated it. I didn't really have an out to his Chaos Max anyways. At any time I wanted after that resolved, I could have used Eldlich Shaddoll Fusion, go into a Construct, use Skomata, use Construct. There were lots of threats lurking around, especially with an extra pop. I could have popped anything I wanted with a dragon. I could have sent off Skomata or anything I want. I could have sent a Wendy, which could have summoned a copy of Shaddoll Beast. That was a very short replay, I'm sorry. I think he opened... I mean, in terms of Chaos Max, that's a really good opening. I mean, he also had Return of the Dragon Lords, meaning he could just recycle his Blue Eyes that he'll send off Advanced Ritual Art. He also had a Monster Reborn in case he really wants anything. I mean, maybe he could have exeased it off. He only has 10 cards in his extra deck. Interesting, to say the least. But that was a bit of a short replay, I'd say. I've had more eventful duels. In one of my duels, I did get 3 invoked fusions in one turn. But unfortunately, my opponent just DC'd, so Idiot Pro doesn't save DC replays. So we'll go for the deck profile then, I guess. So here is the deck. We have Eldlich, the Golden Lord, 2 of them. You never really need more than 2 unless your opponent really likes banishing your cards. But I find 2 to be the best. We have 1 copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Really one. It's a good card to have in your hand. You can discard stuff, and for your Shaddoll cards will not trigger off it because it's a summoning condition, not a card effect. So you can use their graveyard effects. You're usually just going to use the effects of your Conquistadors and stuff. It's also a target for souls. 2 copies of Beast, 1 copy of Dragon, 2 copies of Skomata. I'll just explain the Shaddolls quick. 1 copy of Ariel, 2 copies of Wendy, 2 copies of Hedgehog, and 1 copy of Falco. I found this ratio to work the best for me. Falco is kind of what do you call it? It's a little situational. But you can still run Falco. In terms of the Beast is super useful in this deck. It just gets you the extra draw, which is sometimes all you need to win the game. Dragon can just pop your opponent's back row. It's especially useful when you're able to send it off something like a construct during your opponent's turn, using something like Eldlich Shaddoll fusion. Skomata can just send another Shaddoll to the graveyard in order to trigger its effect, especially useful when you have it in your hand. So in case you draw it and maybe something like Shaddoll fusion while your opponent doesn't control anything, you can just use Skomata instead. 3 copies of Alistair. I thought I was sorry. As I said, I'm going to go over the Shaddolls. Now Shaddoll Ariel. Ariel is pretty decent. It's pretty great to say the least. Ariel, I've seen lots of really weird plays. Like Ariel summon construct when you like banish construct using something like incarnation. I've seen Ariel do really cool stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't performed in such a way myself. I hope to do it in the future. 2 copies of Wendy. Wendy practically summons anything from your deck. Your best target would probably be something like a beast, or if you're able to trigger on your opponent's turn, maybe something like a Skomata to deter your opponent from attacking you. 2 copies of Hedgehog. Hedgehog is always nice. Hedgehog can just give you the free search. Maybe if you have 2 fusion spells in your graveyard, in your hand, you can maybe just get the extra search, which is sometimes all you need. And we have, finally, for the Shaddolls, we have 1 copy of Falco. You can take out Falco for something like an upstart. Falco does come in use handy sometimes just for the extra summon, maybe for something like an Alistair or a Cross Sheep. It does come in handy. We have 3 copies of Alistair to search Invo. Alistair is always great. And we have 3 copies of Souls. Not only can it get you some extra draws, it's also target for Spell Book of Knowledge, which is a card I play. I know. It's actually comes in clutch. I think I'll just switch around the I'll switch around the ratios a bit for 2 copies of Secrets, 1 copy of Knowledge, and 2 copies of Blue Boy. Mainly because there have been a couple of instances where I have wished I had a Blue Boy in my hand. Mainly because I just drew Spell Book of Secrets and no other cards. Sometimes Blue Boy can just come in handy. We have 3 copies of Allure. Pretty much every single card is a dark. The exceptions being Golden Lord, Ariel, Wendy, and this Blue Boy right here. We have 1 Spellbook of Knowledge. Sometimes if you open Souls plus Knowledge, you can just get so many draws. It's pretty insane. We have 2 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Does come super clutch going second. I think it's kind of worse than Shaddoll Fusion. Maybe you can just take out the Falco, run the 3rd copy. I like to keep it at 2 because sometimes it's just pretty lackluster when you're going first. 2 copies of Black Awakening. The normal ratio for the elixirs is 2 Black Awakening, 1 White Destiny, and 3 Sanguine. 1 copy of Terraforming to get your Magical Meltdown. 2 copies of Invocation to summon all your invoked monsters. 1 copy of Foolish Burial, just to get some of your Shaddolls in the graveyard. 2 copies of Spellbook of Secrets, maybe to search something like a Blue Boy or a Spellbook of Knowledge. 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Sorry, it's not Called by the Grave. It's the Eldlich Shaddoll Fusion lets you summon during your opponent's turn, so you can summon something like an Apocalypse to interrupt their plays. 3 copies of Called by the Grave, just for those hand traps. 1 copy of White Destiny. I've explained White Destiny just summons from the hand of graveyard. 3 copies of Cursed Eldland. You need 3. The search power is super useful. 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. Magical Meltdown can always search your Alistair. 3 copies of Sanguine. It's the best elixir, really just letting you interrupt summon stuff on your opponent's turn if you're able to trigger a Golden Land during your end phase. 1 copy of Shaddoll Incarnation. It can summon anything you want from your graveyard and face on defense. Especially useful after you fuse with something like a Shaddoll Fusion or an Eldlich Shaddoll Fusion. 3 copies of Conquistador. Really, the pops are super helpful. 2 copies of Huaquero, just for those graveyard based decks, most of them. 2 copies of Golden Knight Forever, really for the negates. I just want to touch on the Spellbook of Knowledge a bit more. The effect, I'm pretty sure that when Spellbook of Knowledge sends a spellcaster from your field to your graveyard, it counts as, it's not a cost, it's an actual effect. So pretty much it can trigger all your Shaddolls, stuff like dragons, Skomata, anything you want, Hedgehog, Falco. So that's why I kind of run Spellbook of Knowledge. It has come in handy so many times just for the extra draws. I usually use it with Magician's Souls, to be honest, because it's a free summon. Sometimes you can use it with something like Alistair too, which is just super useful. So for our extra deck, we have 2 copies of Mechaba and 2 copies of Construct. Pretty standard in an Invoked Shaddoll deck. 1 Purgatrio, 1 Apocalypse, 1 Raijin, 1 and 2 Winda, and 1 Kaliga. This Kaliga has come, it's super handy with me, and Kaliga is an incredible floodgate, practically being just a blanket Mystic Mine. So pretty much, yeah, this is what it can do. It's an incredible floodgate. Not only does it block each player from monster effects in general, it also acts as a blockade in terms of battle. So it's super duper useful. Pretty much if you're able to summon this against something like Altergeist that literally cannot beat over 1800 defense, you're pretty fine to go. Unfortunately, this is only good against activated effects. Sometimes the continuous effects do slip up. I'm not sure if this is an activated effect itself. I'm not, but pretty super good. As I was saying, the Raijin is good to fuse with Wendy, and it does come in handy. Super handy, that too, just flipping stuff face down. For our links, we have 1 copy of Alistair the Invoker of Madness. Really just the extra search for invocation while also treating itself as Alistair the Invoker is super handy. You have the Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep can just recur stuff from your graveyard. Secure Garden and Almirage, this should be pretty standard with your Alistair. And finally, we have 1 Gravity Controller, which is a super great card in tandem with your Shaddolls, mainly because it can trigger your Shaddoll graveyard effects. So that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.